Okay, so we are going to have to look at something to remind us about the comprehension that we learned during school. I hope I have people who can read. I have people who can comprehend like they have been saying. So to be interactive, you'll still be the ones doing the reading and the answering of questions because I know you have the answers. Teacher Teddy. Dr. Kabeja, your hand is up. Is that your name? You have gone off. So I'll be sharing something shortly. Bear with me, something. Someone is sharing the screen. Okay, thank you very much, Teacher Teddy. So you see that the questions that I've been asking already have answers, and these answers are the ones that you were giving earlier on, okay? I asked what you understand by comprehension, and people ably told me that comprehension is the ability to understand. Some said you have to critically understand. Others said it's not just about understanding, you have to extract some answers, so you don't read for fun, but you read to pick out something. So it is the ability to process a text, you understand its meaning, and you'll have to integrate with what the reader already knows. So when you read a story, it doesn't stop at you reading the story. You also want to know what the person who wrote this story really wanted you to understand. This is why as we read a story, you do not pick out what you know from the outside world and fill it in, but you rather look at the story as it is and try to understand what the person who wrote it was trying to say. I'll give you an example. If a person is writing about trees and they say, in our home, our trees used to move. They would shift from the doorstep to the backyard, then back to the farm. Well, in your mind, you may think trees do not move. But if I asked a question, for example, from where does the tree move? You'll be able to tell me that it usually moves from the front of the door to the backyard and then to the garden. That is what we call understanding what the writer is talking about. So it ceases to be about what you know, but what this person is saying. So given questions to respond in line with that story, you'd have to pick what this person is talking about and not what you think or what you know in your mind. So we're also saying to make out the meaning in a given text. What are they trying to say? After you've known what it is they're talking about, what do they want you to pick out as the meaning? This may actually be a lesson. It may be something to do with society. So you try and make out the meaning. You'll be expected to read a text and respond to written questions. This is how we know that you have actually understood a given story. Someone said we can even comprehend a poem, we can comprehend a passage. There's so many things we can comprehend. So how do we deal with comprehension? I was asking people, if you were to help a P7 candidate to do better in comprehension or understand what comprehension is about, what would you tell them? And I think people were not getting the question. So I would encourage them to read, okay? Because comprehension is one about interpreting and understanding a particular subject or topic, like people mentioned earlier on. So there is no way you'll understand without reading. Let me ask someone to read for us what is in that slide. Put your hand up and read for us what is in that slide. Gloria, is it you again? Dr. Kabeja, I gave you a chance, but you're not speaking. Could you read?
Yes, teacher. Reading frequently will help you learn new words and interpret different meanings.
Thank you very much. No. We are going to read one point at a time. Okay, so it will help you learn new words. There is someone who said that once you don't understand a word, you can even use a dictionary to find the meaning. There are so many other sources of information that we can use. Apart from finding that meaning as per the passage or the sentence where it has been used, you can also find meaning by looking up the word, okay? Now that you're home and even have your phones, you can even use the phone and find which other words mean the same as this word. What do I understand from this word? Why is it used here and not there? That is the interpretation of the different meanings that we are talking about. What is the next point there? Quincy, you disappeared. Can I get someone else? Yes?
Links to the text.
I'm not getting you. Could you be louder?
Make links to the text.
Thank you very much. What are those things that this passage or text reminds you of? What are those things that you can link it to? Is it talking about the environment? Is it talking about thieves? Okay, so you try and link microphone open. So you try and link it to help you understand better. Mariam M, could you read for us the next two?
Try to guess what will happen.
Okay, try to guess what will happen.
Ask questions.
Very good. Now, as you ask yourself questions, why this person is saying this and not the other, why this person has brought about this, it helps you to guess what will happen. For example, when you start by reading reading about a person who stole, what is the likely end? The likely end is either to get caught and they beat them and they die, or they are arrested, okay? So you can draw an end or guess what the end will be like. Jaylin, read for us the next
Keep track
one.
of the main idea. Keep
Thank
track
you
of the
very
main
much.
idea.
Okay, thank you, Jaylin. So usually anyone who writes has something main they're talking about. Katumba Joshua, can you please stop unmuting yourself when you're not giving an answer? Jaylin has read that you actually have to keep track of the main idea. Not lose that idea because it will guide your understanding. Could you read for us the next one?
The next one is keep track of the main idea. Summarize the content in one statement or group of statements.
Okay, thank you very much. You people watch movies, you watch soaps, not so? Now that you're home, I imagine you're already doing a wonderful job. Now, if you want to tell someone about what you're watching, do you start by telling them, you know, there is this movie. Then the man was running. He hit a stone, then he was shot at, then he died. Then the person will be wondering, okay, what are we talking about? So you'd have to summarize for them that it is a movie about a bank robbery, okay? Then have you watched this soap or series? It is about a bank robbery. So they know you have summarized in one statement, or you could tell them about two statements to tell them what this is about. It is the same thing we do when we start reading a passage, a story, or when we are comprehending something, okay? We are going to read a passage. Questions, because we've said to respond to questions. So we are going to try out a passage and then we will answer or respond. Wanana, could you read for us the first paragraph? Joshua, you read the second. Lumu Joshua. Wanana, first paragraph.
It was the noise which came first, the banging of the hammer on the metal.
Louder, please. Louder.
It was the noise which came first, the banging of the hammer on the metal, and the shouting of many people. She was quiet there when she heard someone call her name.
Okay, thank you. Lumu Joshua, join in.
It was her friend who was selling cola nuts and fresh milk. Where are you going? Her friend asked. You look like as if you are going to a wedding, not a market. Chic and
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
I've joined in late. I raised up my hand. What are we learning today?
We are doing comprehension, and at the moment we are reading a passage that you're going to comprehend and answer questions that follow that passage.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Shirabo, Mercy, could you read the next paragraph?
It was the noise which came first. Oh no.
Oh,
Sheikh and Abdullah are coming today. answered Halima. It's going to be fun. We are all going to meet them. Everybody will be there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for reading. I'm looking out for people who haven't read. There is a person who has Galaxy Tab A. I don't know what your name is, please. You can read the next paragraph.
Buyers and sellers were arguing noisily around sacks and baskets of grain and beans. They were the butchers, neighbors of pieces. There are the women who sold anything from Europe. There were the two men too, who sold anything from Europe to silk thread. Behind them were the dye pits. Men and boys were standing in them up to their waists.
Okay,
Yes, madam. The length of
we keep losing you, dear. We keep losing you. You're not stable.
The length of clothes they had dyed were all around them. Onion yellow, copper green, pink, rust red, and deep blue clothes were stretched out to dry.
Okay, thank you. Marklin, could you read?
Like a coal pot, an iron and a copper bracelet, and of course, father and the big boys all had knives which were made here. Not far from them was the old cobbler. Halima's sandals and purse came from there. As she and Khalifi passed by his stall, the old man called out in his tired voice, "Sanu Halima, Sanu," she said and walked on. Then came the tannery. It made her want to hold her nose shut, but that would be rude as she watched the animal hide being cleaned. She wondered how anybody could work in such awful smell.
That is the animal hide. Let me get someone to read for us the last. Vanessa?
She knew without the smell there would be no leather. She did not mind the smell of live animals, but the smell of the hive. Oh.
Okay, thank you very much for reading, everyone. I'm going to request one person to reread for us the passage so that every one of us can follow. I don't know who hasn't read. Humuza Agatha, could you read for us the story from the beginning to the end? The rest of us should mute our microphones.
From the beginning to the end?
Yes, please. From the beginning.
Okay. It was the noise which came first, the banging of a hammer on metal and the shouting of many people. She was quiet there when she had someone call her name, Halima. It was her friend who was selling cola nuts and fresh milk. "Where are you going?" her friend asked. "You look as if you're going to a wedding, not a market." "Sheikh and Abdullah are coming today," answered Halima. "It's going to be fun. We are all going to meet them. Everybody will be there." Buyers and sellers were arguing noisily around sacks and baskets of grain and beans. They were butchers and tables of spices. They were the women too, who sold anything from Europe's to silk thread. Behind them were the dye pits. Men and boys were standing in them up to their waists. The lengths of cloth they had dyed were all around them. Onion, yellow, copper green, pink, rust red, and deep blue cloth was stretched out to dry. Like a coal pot, an iron and a copper bracelet, and of course, father and the big boys all had knives which were made here. Not far from them was the old cobbler. Halima, Sandoz, and Pars came from here. As she and Khalifi passed by his store, the old man called out in his tired voice, "Sanu, Halima." "Sanu," she said and walked on. Then came the tannery. It made her want to hold her nose shut, but that would be rude. As she watched the animal hide being cleaned, she wondered how anybody could work in such awful smell. But she knew without the smell there would be no leather. She did not mind the smell of live animals, but the smell of the hides, yuck.
Okay, thank you very much. Remember, we said that we have to read and read and read to understand, okay? So we have read twice, but if you're a fast reader, you can always read more than twice. Please never read once and think you have understood something. The first reading is for you to peruse through and get an idea of what it is that is in the passage. Then you start reading for understanding. If I may ask, what is the main idea here? What is the main idea in this passage? Does that mean we have not understood the passage? Well, looks like no one knows. Okay, which people are in this passage that you see from the beginning to the end? And what are they doing? Maybe that would give us an idea of what the main idea is. Vanessa? Vanessa, you're not speaking. Are you responding to that question?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Halima, and she was going to the market.
Okay, thank you. Gloria, your hand is also up.
Teacher, there was a cobbler who was okay, like Halima saw a cobbler who was making shoes, and then they were like, it's where her shoes and purse were made from.
Okay, where is this cobbler found? Where is the cobbler found? We want to find the main idea of this passage. Mariam?
The cobbler is found at the market.
Very good. Thank you. So you realize that the story revolves around, okay, before I respond, I am seeing more hands coming up. Who else wants to respond? Vanessa. Vanessa? We are not getting you. Okay. People who are unmuted, kindly, if you're responding, put up your hand so that we know you're responding, okay? So we go to the questions with Halima, and Halima is in this market. This is where all this action takes place. So we have a few questions to respond to. Question 1, someone to read for us the question and then we get answers. Renita?
The first question is, did Halima first hear or see the market?
Okay, thank you. Do you want to respond to the question?
Yeah, I think Halima first saw the market, in my opinion.
Halima first saw the market? Where are you getting that
Halima
from?
First. Okay, my question was in this question. Are the market the people in the market, or the market are the things in the market? That's what's confusing me in this question.
And someone respond to that question? Can someone respond to that question? Is the market the people in the market or the items in the market? Who wants to respond? Pamela, your microphone is open. Are you responding?
Yes.
Okay, please do.
The markets are the people who are there, known like the things, but also you can combine them.
They are the people who are there.
So what you're trying to the people make up the market.
Their hands, Brandon.
For me, I think that both the people and the things, they make up the market, because if people are there and they don't have things to sell, that means that that's not a market, just people. And if things are there without people, they're just things.
Okay, thank you very much. Kayondo James.
Isn't a market supposed to be? Isn't a market supposed to be a place where traders carry out trading?
Very good. You're responding to Renita. So don't pose it as a question. You respond. She's asking whether a market is people, or market is the items sold in the market.
Okay, let me say, a market is a place where traders carry out trading.
Very good. So that means the market is made up of yes, someone? James, please complete your explanation. It means that a market is made up of, there are two people who want to help out.
People. It's a place where people carry out trading.
Okay. Joshua, are you responding to the same? Thank you, James.
Welcome.
Yes, teacher. I was saying, because, okay, me what I think the marketplace is, okay, the items like which are displayed there, which are displayed in various sections and rows. Now, someone can form up a sentence and then they say the marketplace or the market was empty. That means people who come and see and see those items which are maybe on the tables or the desk. That place was empty, so there was nothing like a market.
Okay. So the marketplace was empty. People were not there. It ceases to be a market. Charity? Yes. Okay, thank you. Can I request you to mute yourself that I have spoken, please? Charity?
My opinion, madam, I say that people and both items and people make up a market because the items can't be there when they don't have people who sell them. And people can't be there doing nothing when there are no items. They are doing trade. They are trading. That's why both people and items make up a market.
You were giving a very good answer, but we kept losing you. But we've got that a market cannot be a market with only people. It has to have items as well. Someone's hand was up and they were supposed to be the last one. Patricia, were you saying something? Okay, I take it that Patricia had forgotten to mute her microphone. So the question is, what is a market? I thought you people, we had handled a marketplace in school. So can we first talk about what a market is? And is the market in the market? Marisa, please mute your microphone apart from if you're giving an answer. Are you giving us an answer? No. People responding to the market differently. Now, a marketplace should have some business taking place there, or a market. And someone told us that a market is where traders sell their products. I'm just paraphrasing what they said. So we know that for it to be a marketplace, there should be people who we are calling the traders or vendors. Yes, those are the people who have products to sell. And then there are products that are supposed to be sold. And these products are sold to people. So we cannot have a market of items. For example, if I woke up today and just placed fruits before my door or be in my compound, does that become a market? If people converged in a field, would we call it a market? No. So it can only be a market where we have people and products being sold. Teacher Teddy, am I still on? Are you getting me?
Yes, teacher.
You lose me at some point.
Yes, we lost you at some point.
Sometimes.
Okay. So we want to agree that a market is a place where people sell their products. We have vendors in the market, we have products in the market. So it cannot be a market with only traders or with only people who don't have anything to sell, which are the products. So we have the people and we also have products. So it's the two of them. Renita, I think that was your question that
Yes,
took us to
teacher.
the market.
Yes, teacher.
So the
The
question
thing which
is, did Halima first hear
did
or see?
Halima hear or see the market? So, teacher, you have said that a market is a place. So here, when they talk about why I answered that she first saw
I did not
is
stop at
because
the place.
the
Renita, can you please first understand
yes,
what a market is? For now, what do
yes.
you understand by a market? What do you understand by
I've
a market
understood that
as of now?
I've understood that both the people and the items being sold make up a market. Yes.
So it's a platform where people come together to sell their products. We can call those people traders, we can call them vendors, not?
Yes.
Now we can proceed.
Yes. Thank you, teacher.
Okay, as if you were asking a question. Okay, so we are back to the question. And we said, as we comprehend or as we try to understand what the passage is about, we look at what the writer wanted us to understand. So the question here is, did Halima first see or hear the market, or did she first hear or see the market? What do you think? Teacher Teddy, could you take us back to the beginning of the passage, kindly?
Sure.
Remember, we have to understand, okay? Oh, I am seeing many hands. Dorcas? Dorcas?
I think it was the noise. She first heard, then she saw.
How do you know that?
Because there was the noise and the banging of a hard metal.
Okay, so the first sentence clearly tells us that it was the noise which came first. And she was quiet when she heard someone call her name. That means it is the noise that she heard first before she could see the gathering or what was taking place in the market. Okay. Vanessa and Renita, do you have a different answer? If not, could we lower our hands and go to the next question? Okay, so the second question, what did Halima buy in the market? What did Halima buy in the market? What did Halima buy in the market? Yes, Faith, we have reached the answer she first had. Thank you. So what did she first buy in the market? Looks like people were not reading to understand. They were reading for entertainment, which Anne Gloria said we should not do in dealing with comprehension. Now they have forgotten. Do we go back to the passage, please? What did Halima buy in the market? Did she buy anything? Yes? Yes, Vanessa.
Never bought anything.
She never bought anything. Okay. Any other person? Any other person with a different answer? Oh, people have not read. Joshua?
I think she bought leather.
Where are you getting that from?
First go to the 7th slide.
7th line.
7th slide.
Hey, 7th slide. Okay.
But she knew without the smell there would be no leather.
Does that suggest that she bought something, Joshua? How do you think? Does it suggest that she bought something? What do the rest of us have to say?
I'm not sure. I just said I think.
Hey, there is someone whose name is M671M4. Do you want to respond?
She bought.
Pardon? You were quite soft. Yes, please. We are listening to you. Should we go to the next person? Looks like we are not getting you. Vanessa. Vanessa?
Madam, she bought nothing because the whole paragraph, the whole story shows that she was just walking through the market. It's like she never bought anything.
Okay, yes, thank you. Shirabo, Mercy, do you have a different answer?
No, teacher, that's the same answer I had.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we agree that she did not buy anything? She was simply observing everything that was in the market, and this is what has been told to us, okay? Quincy, had you come with a different answer?